I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before we get started with the no half-step in hockey coverage, first, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show, what you're good and educated about the show. That's when you can click on that merchandise tab, take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event t-shirts, and so much more. All the classic gimmicks you come to know and love and expect from Renegades of Puck are all still available in our online store, whether that's socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets. It really makes no difference to the Renegades of Puck. We've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this operation, so here's how you can jump at the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. You can find us on X and Threads. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok. So please, whatever it is that's your preferred social media platform, jump in the trenches, interact, leave a comment, and please help us out. It doesn't cost you a single thing, and it doesn't take you about a second, but it sure goes a long way to helping out this operation known as the Renegades of Puck. You can find us on YouTube, and we sure would appreciate some more subscribers over there. So please, if you have the time and you can spare a subscription, send us over to YouTube and check out Renegades of Puck. You can find all our latest episodes, Renegades of Puck TV, all our previews, recaps, interviews, and all of our different segments right there, broken up onto easy-to-use playlists. That's our YouTube channel for Renegades of Puck. You can also find the audio podcast on a number of different platforms. Search Renegades of Puck today in your preferred platform. You can find us on iHeartRadio and Spotify. You can also find us on Google, Stitcher, and Amazon. So we sure to appreciate everybody checking out the show as we continue expanding and building the audience on new platforms, and we're continuing to do so as we ramp up for playoff coverage here in the bunker. Venmo, that's how you can support the show financially, and if you can spare a dollar, we sure could use it. A little help behind the scenes, helping us with some technology, some equipment, and yes, even an HVAC system, as we're going to have to deal with the summer heat that's coming very soon. Again, you can scan the QR code that's currently on your screen, or you can just search Renegades of Puck today on Venmo, and you can support your local Renegades. It is very much appreciated. Stick tats, love, and respect to everybody who's been able to make a donation. Now, I know it's time for the half-step in hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It is time for operation number 896. That's right, time for show number 896. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in fourth place in the Central Division after 74 games skated. They have a record of 43, 27, and 4. 90 points has the Predators 4 points shy of the third place and automatic qualifying playoff spot for the Central Division, and they are 13 points shy of first place. That is the biggest margin the Preds have been from first place in quite some time. On home ice, which is where the Nashville Predators' next game will take place, they have a record of 21, 15, and 1. The Preds have scored 244 goals this season. They've given up 225 goals against. That's a goal differential of plus 19. Now, before we get into that next matchup against the Boston Bruins at Bridgestone Arena, let's talk about the updated standings of the Central Division and then what is of more importance at this time, the wild card. So let's start with the Central, and we have two teams now from the Central that have clinched. The Dallas Stars in first place with 103 points, and the Colorado Avalanche in second place with 100 points have both clinched playoff spots this season. The Winnipeg Jets are in third place with 94 points. They have fallen 9 points behind first place, and they have also fallen 6 points behind the second place Colorado Avalanche. The Nashville Predators only 4 points behind Winnipeg Jets, so right there in the rear view mirror, the Preds could have an opportunity to overtake Winnipeg in the next week, but we'll get to that here in just a second. St. Louis Blues in fifth place and still alive with 82 points. Minnesota Wild in sixth place with 79 points, are 11 points behind the Nashville Predators. Arizona, Chicago both eliminated from this season. The wild card race, very important right here. The Nashville Predators still hold wild card one with 90 points. The Vegas Golden Knights have surged the last couple of games and displaced the LA Kings, bumping them back down into the wild card situation. So the Predators are at the first wild card spot with 90. The LA Kings at the second wild card spot with 87 points. The St. Louis Blues, the first team on the outside looking in, at 82 points. Minnesota at 79 behind them. Realistically, it is getting short for the those two teams to have an opportunity. 5 points behind LA is the St. Louis Blues, and they are 8 points behind the Nashville Predators with just 8 games to go in the season. So that's got you updated on the standings. Let's take a look at the head of the Nashville Predators, and instead of just the next week, let's just talk about the remainder of the schedule because there's not much. Now, after this game hosting the Boston Bruins on Thursday, the Predators will host the St. Louis Blues, and then the Preds will be on the road for a quick back-to-back to the Northeast against the New York Islanders on Saturday, against the New Jersey Devils on Sunday. On the 9th of April, the Preds will be at home to face off against the Winnipeg Jets. And I'm imagining the scenarios already. I'm trying not to look ahead, but damn, that could be exciting right there. On the 12th of April at Chicago. On the 13th of April versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. So 2 more back-to-backs left for the Nashville Predators out of their final 8 games. And that will be the final home game of the regular season for the Nashville Predators on the 13th versus Columbus. Then the final game of the regular season is also their final road game of the season. That happens on April the 15th at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, the Predators and the Bruins played very early in this particular season. It was back on October the 14th when the Predators fell 3-2 in Boston. UC Saros won 27 out of 30 and took the loss. Sissons had both of the goals for the Nashville Predators. Swayman got the start, picked up the victory for the Bruins, 34 out of 36. Van Riemsdyk did the majority of the damage with 2 goals, but Pastrnak also with a goal and an assist in that game. And the Nashville Predators very early on in the season were competitive in Boston, but did fall, as many teams do, in Boston against the Bruins. The Bruins themselves on the season 43-17 and 15, just off to another incredible season. 101 points, first overall in the Atlantic Division, competing for a division championship and a President's Trophy as well. They are 28-9 on the road this season. They've scored 249 goals. They've given up 208 goals against. It's a goal differential of plus 41. Let's take a look at their most recent stretch of action. It was on the 21st of March, 5-2 loss versus the New York Rangers. On the 23rd of March, a 3-2 loss at the Philadelphia Flyers. On the 26th of March, a 4-3 win at the Florida Panthers. 27th of March, a 3-1 loss at Tampa Bay. Most recently, on the 30th of March, a 3-2 shootout win at Washington. Swayman picked up the victory. 18 out of 20 was his stat line. So you can see the Boston Bruins competing for all of the trophies over there in the Eastern Conference, but in their most recent stretch of action, dropping a couple of games right there to the Rangers and also to the Flyers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. But the Bruins are always an incredibly dangerous team, and coming into Bridgestone Arena, there is no doubt the Nashville Predators have to be much better prepared for this next game than they have been for the previous 2. Let's talk about the NHL rankings and the numbers between these 2 teams, and you might be surprised the Predators are comparable to the Boston Bruins in several of these rankings, just not in the standings necessarily. 11 points separate these 2 teams in the standings. The Boston Bruins, by the way, would be in second place behind Dallas if they were in the Central Division. Just to show you how competitive the Central Division is. People don't give the Central enough credit this season, but they have put up quite a showing overall. In the goals for category, the Boston Bruins 3.27 is 12th overall. The Nashville Predators also scoring 3.27 goals per game. They're considered 11th in the NHL. In the goals against category, the Nashville Predators are 16th overall in the league at 3.04. Boston, 6th best in the league, 2.73. That's a good number right there. Shots on goal, 31.7, 10th best in the league for the Predators. Shots for Boston Bruins, 29.4 is 21st overall in the league. In the shots against category, the Preds giving up 30.4 per game is 20th, while the Boston Bruins giving up 30.8 shots per game is 23rd overall in the NHL. In the special teams category, no surprise, we're here to find the Bruins are dramatically ahead in both of these categories. Let's start on the Preds side of things. 20.5% conversion rate on the power play is 18th in the league, 50 out of 244 opportunities. The Bruins power play, 9th best overall by percentage ranking, 23.2%, 52 conversions on 224 opportunities this season. The Preds PK is at 25th on the season, 76.3% is their kill rate, 53 power play goals against. The Boston Bruins are rated 8th overall in the NHL in penalty kill at 82.1%, and they've given up 45 power play goals against on the season. So the Boston Bruins do have 3 top 10 metrics out of the 6 large statistical metrics that we talk about in this segment. The Nashville Predators only have 1 top 10 metric, and it is the shots on goal category, 31.7, 10th in the NHL. So the Predators in the middle third of the NHL in the majority of all of their categories. Now, When it comes to each and every team in the NHL, we always talk about the high-skilled individuals, and we always give you the top 5 individual scorers from each team. Let's start with the visiting Boston Bruins on this category. 45 goals for Pastrnak, and he has struck against the Predators already this season, and he typically does against most teams in the NHL. His 45 goals represent number 1 on that category on the Bruins. 57 assists also represents number 1 on that category for the Bruins, and 102 points is by far the leader by 39 points over Marchand at 27 goals and 36 points. 63 points is also a nice season, but 102 points is a whole lot better. Coyle's at 23 goals and 32 assists for 55 points. Saka's at 18 and 33 for 51, and McAvoy 10 goals, 34 assists for 44 points. Over on the other side of the ledger, the Nashville Predators, not nearly as much separation between the top scorers on this team, but there are some comparables here. Forsberg, 41 goals, 43 assists for 84 points on the season. So Forsberg only 4 goals behind Pastrnak right there, but quite a few points. Yossi, 19 goals and 57 assists for 76 points on the season. Nyquist, 22 goals, 46 assists for 68 points. O'Reilly, 25 and 36 for 61. And Tommy Novak, all he does is make plays for 40 points. 15 of those are goals, 25 of those are assists. With the back-to-back nature of the Boston Bruins and the way they platoon and tandem their goaltending, anticipated to see Ullmark in net against the Predators. 19-9-7 on the season, 9-1-4 save percentage, 2.64 goals against average with 1 shutout on the season. Swayman picked up the win in their most recent game at Washington. There are 2 days between starts, but the Boston Bruins really do like to kind of keep that balance going, and no reason to see why they're not going to. UC Saros at 32, 22, and 4, a 906 save percentage, 2.83 goals against average, 3 shutouts on the season. Preds looking to get back on the right track, get back on the winning streak. That's going to do it for the preview for the Nashville Predators and the Boston Bruins. Let's go back and talk about what happened in the last game for the Preds. It was in Denver. It's the Rebirth Sports full game recap, and we're going to it right after this.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to March 30th of the year 2024 when the Nashville Predators were in Denver, Colorado to face off against the Avalanche and close out the regular season series. Head coach Andrew Brunette deployed his lines and defensive pairings in the following way: Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist, Zucker, Sissons, and Glass, Jankowski, Novak, Evangelista, Smith, McCarron, and Sherwood. Your defensive pairings are Yossi and Fabro back in the lineup, McDonough and Shen, Stastny and Luzon. Lankinen gets the start against the Avs. We are only 11 seconds into the first period of this game, and it's Lankinen coming up with a save on Yakov Trenin. Yes, former Nashville Predator Yakov Trenin strong on the rush and the jam to the net. First shot on goal of the game turned aside by Lankinen. At the 1:15 mark, Georgiev gets his first opportunity with a save on Zucker. That is the Predators' first shot on goal. At 2:37, Georgiev comes up with another save, this time on Tommy Novak with Jankowski's hard crash right here. 3:06 of the first period, it's Georgiev coming up with a save on Forsberg at the 3:41 mark of the first. It is Cole Smith with his 9th goal of the season breaking through, giving the Nashville Predators a 1-0 lead over the Colorado Avalanche early in this game. Nyquist feed from below the goal line to the slot. Easy cash in for Smith, who was just wide open in the slot area. Makar was injured on the play. One of the reasons Smith was so wide open, a blocked shot was the culprit on the injury, but it would only be a temporary setback for Makar in this game. 1-0 Nashville Predators. At the 5:07 mark of the first period, it's Lankinen coming with a save on Wood. At the 5:24 mark of the first, it's Druin coming with his 15th goal of the season, tying this game up at 1 apiece. It was a weak side tap-in off of McKinnon's great setup. Everybody with eyes on McKinnon looking for him to take the shot. His perfect vision, though, makes the pass to the weak side for Druin easily to finish on this play. 6:47 of the first period. Now Lankinen comes with a save on Manson. The 7:31 mark of the first period, Georgiev comes with a save on Luke Evangelista plus Tommy Novak Novak's follow-up at the 8:56 mark of the first. It's Lankinen coming with a save on Drew and holds the line on the rebound jam. And when I say hold the line, I mean lays down flat and holds on for dear life on that line. At the 9:16 mark of the first, McKinnon off the box. 2 minutes for goalie interference. We found our first special teams situation of the game. Lankinen has to come up with a shorthanded save on Trennan's penalty kill rush. Wood would then pick up a penalty 2 minutes for tripping. That creates a 5-on-3 for 1:09 for the Nashville Predators. But then O'Reilly picks up a penalty 2 minutes for hooking. That makes it a 4-on-3 for 42 seconds. Ultimately, as we go through all of the different power play and shorthanded scenarios here, there were no real great scoring chances. So we move back to 5-on-5 hockey, and we find ourselves at the 13-minute mark of the first period when Mark Jankowski scores his 6th goal this season. He roofed the puck from close range. Everybody thought he was going to pass. He goes ahead and takes the shot and puts the Nashville Predators ahead 2-1. Just 43 seconds later, Dante Fabra with his 3rd goal this season. A long shot through traffic gets into the net. The Nashville Predators now up 3-1. 15:54 the first period. Sherwood off the box, 2 minutes for slashing, and Middlestat is going to pick up Colorado's 2nd goal of the game, his 18th of the season. It was a loose puck poke after Lankinen got absolutely crushed. It had to be reviewed, determined to be a good goal. Colton Sissons is the one that knocked Rantanen into Lankinen. It looked awful all the way around for the Preds on this one. Middlestat, the opportunist in the situation, is 18th, gives Colorado their 2nd goal of the game. 17:27 of the first period. Lankinen comes up with a save on Lehkonen. 19:06 of the first. Lankinen comes up with a save on McKinnon. We hit the end of the first period with some high event hockey. The Avs outshoot the Preds 16-12. 57 seconds into the second period, and it's Nyquist coming with his 22nd goal of the season. It was a wrist shot snipe on a 3-on-2 rush. Nashville now has a 4-2 lead in this game. 57 seconds into the first period. In the second period, it is also Georgiev when the goal is given up to Nyquist, picking up an unsportsmanlike conduct, and he's also replaced at this moment in the game by Noonan. Noonan comes up with a save on Forsberg during that shorthand situation. That would be it for the Nashville Predators at the 3:11 mark of the second period. The game is hitting a change point right here as Ryan McDonough is picking up a 5-minute match penalty. That is an automatic ejection and game misconduct, possible league review for supplemental discipline. 5-minute major also means the Colorado Avalanche can score as many goals as they can in that 5-minute span. The Preds do not get their killer back. Lehkonen scores his 13th of the season. It was a limp wrist shot, but it still beat Lankinen. It was about halfway through the 5-minute advantage. That makes it 4-3 in favor of the Nashville Predators. Lankinen then would come up with a save on McKinnon. Lankinen would then come up with a save on Druin. And overall, you got to give the Preds credit. They did bend, not break. They did give up a goal against on this 5-minute major, but they come out of it with still a 4-3 lead. We flip over to the back of the sheet, and at 8:51, we find a Noonan coming with a save on Evangelista's jam attempt at the 9:36 mark of the second period. Lankinen comes with a save on Walker at close range. Past the halfway point of this game, we find a Noonan at 11:09 coming with a save on Fabro. A large scrum after the whistle right here. Just about 30 seconds later, at 12:25, Lankinen comes with a save on Makar. Another large scrum. You can tell the temperature is rising between these two teams at the 13-minute mark of the second period. Lankinen coming with a save on Rantanen at 13:50. Noonan coming with a save on Philip Forsberg. 14:34 sees Nashville Predators going back to the power play as Wood picks up a penalty. 2 minutes for slashing. The Preds are generating good zone time and earn this power play, but it is again the PK that's very, very strong for Colorado, with Noonan only having to make one stop on Philip Forsberg, and that came from long range without much traffic in front. Colorado PK, incredibly aggressive, gets the job done. 16:44 the second. Sissons off the box. 2 minutes for hooking. Lankinen comes up with a save on Rantanen, but then the Preds unable to close it out because Makar picks up his 19th goal of the season. It was off the post and in off of a failed clearing attempt. Makar kept it in, wheeled, and put it right back off the post and into the net, tying the game up at 4 apiece before we can get to the end of the second period. 19:31, so with 29 seconds left in the period, it's Yakov Trenin picking up his 12th goal of the season. Fabro and Forsberg each take their turns turning the puck over in the defensive end right here. Trenin pounces on it and scores easy on Lankinen. Trenin was all over the puck in this game. Trenin's 12th gives Colorado the 5-4 lead here at the end of the second period. And also now the shots on goal are Colorado 28 to 26 for the Nashville Predators. We go into the third period at 1:41 into the third period. We find our first piece of action. It's Lankinen coming with a save on Johnson at the 1:58 mark of the third. Lankinen coming with a save on Wood at the 2:20 mark of the third period. It's Lankinen coming with a save on Wood again, this time off of the rush with speed at 3:38 of the third period. It's McKinnon, his 46th goal of the season. He didn't even get all of it. He didn't even have to. His rebound putback finds its way into the net, giving the Colorado Avalanche a 6-4 lead in this game. At the 4:30 mark of the third period, Lankinen still working hard, coming with a save on Johnson. At the 6:54 mark of the third period, Schenn is off the box. 2 minutes for hooking the Nashville Predators penalty kill, going back to work. Lankinen coming with a save on Cale Makar, and then Lankinen coming up with not one but two saves on Middlestat before the end of this power play for the Colorado Avalanche. Past the halfway point of the period, and at 10:15, we find a Noonan coming with a save on O'Reilly at close range. This was one of the Predators' best scoring chances of the third period. At the 11:46 mark of the third period, we find Lankinen coming up with a save on Druin. At the 12:55 mark, it is a Noonan coming up with a save on O'Reilly's rebound attempt off of Yossi's shot. This was, again, another strong scoring opportunity for the Nashville Predators, going all in with the extra attacker at 16:10 into the third period, and McKinnon scores his 47th goal of the season, his second of this period, second of the game, of course, 47th of the season. It's an empty net goal from long range. That makes it 7-4. The Nashville Predators would get one more power play. They would get a couple of more shots at it, but they would not generate any more goals in this game. And your final would be the Colorado Avalanche 7 and the Nashville Predators 4. The Avs outshoot the Preds 42-35. 42-35. So the Colorado Avalanche absolutely did not let up, even though they had the one-goal lead in the third period, picking up two more goals, 28-38, 14 shots on goal in the third period. So 16 shots on goal in the first period, 14 shots in the third period. The Colorado Avalanche were simply all over the Nashville Predators in this game. And for the Preds, they gave up 8 in the desert. Now they give up 7 in the mountains. This has not been a very, very good two-game road trip for this Nashville Predators team. Nathan McKinnon makes a victim of the Nashville Predators, as he makes so many teams look bad. It was shocking that the Preds had kept him at bay to the point that they had so far this season, but unable to do so at this particular point. So the Preds wrap up the quick two-game road trip by dropping both games, both in the Central Division and both by truly lopsided scores. The Preds do put 4 goals up on the board, generate 35 shots, but it's not even close to enough in this game. They started out good. Again, second game in a row on the road where the Preds started out good. They had the lead, but they were unable to hold, unable to maintain. And the game has gotten, it's lost its details. It's lost its way, and the Preds, frankly, have to step it up. They have their opportunities. No reason to panic after just a two-game losing streak. It's been so long since the Preds have had a two-game losing streak that it feels a little bit weird. All right, that's going to do it for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We've got box score, we've got analysis, we've got so much more coming up next right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Welcome back, Renegades of Puck podcast. Time for some analysis and some opinions. And the replay segment count is going down quite a bit. People are just not enjoying that segment these last two games. Lankinen, 35 out of 41. He gave up 6 goals against this game, and he was left in, and there was no chance he was getting taken out in this game. He came in relief in the previous game in Arizona, played a good third period, made 11 saves, came in this one, gave up 6 goals against on 41 shots against. He took it like a pro. He took it like a champ. He stayed in there. He got beat up, he got beat down, he got just about everything that could happen to him. Knocked around in this game. Lankinen definitely sacrificed in Denver to the Colorado Avalanche. 6 goals against. Really, it's not his fault. Listen, he wasn't great, but nothing about the Predators was great in this game, and he really took a bit of a beating. Let's talk about a couple of different things, maybe some positives. Nyquist, a goal, assist, 2 points, 19-13 total time on ice, continues to be very solid on the season, now up to 68 points, new career high by quite a bit, assists career high by quite a bit. Nyquist making a run at 50 assists on the season in his first season with the Nashville Predators. Only a handful of Predators have done that in franchise history, so that in itself is highly impressive. Nyquist just continues to be solid, well, whether the Preds are winning, whether the Preds are losing. Gus Nyquist has continued to play quite solid hockey since being put on the first line and finding his home. Remember, he didn't start out on that first line, that first combination. It took a handful of games before the Predators settled on that combo, and have they ever run with it since. Jankowski picked up a goal in this game, and you know what? We don't talk about Mark Jankowski because, bottom 6 role player, goes out there, plays good two-way hockey, but he's been chipping in on the offense as of late. And listen, it's not just picking up this goal, but you go back and you take a look at the numbers that he was putting up in Milwaukee, and now the offense that he's helping chip in with up here at the Nashville level, he is putting together quite an impressive season. I think 60 points now combined between the AHL and the NHL this year, and that's outstanding for Mark Jankowski. He's a good, solid veteran player, but he's still rather young as well. So for the Predators, Jankowski is really blossoming into a different player than he was previously with this Predators organization, and this is very, very good news because a solid performer like Jankowski is the type of player you need in the playoffs to help with depth scoring and to also help with all the other small parts and details and intangibles of the game. So we really needed to take a moment there and give some credit to Jankowski. Even in a tough road trip, a tough couple of games right here in a row for the Predators, Jankowski is going out there and playing incredibly good hockey. He's skating with Novak, he's skating with Evangelista, and that line is making a difference out there on the ice. Cole Smith picked up a goal, continues working hard, goes to the hard area, goes to the slot, gets himself open, and finishes. You got to give Cole Smith a little bit of credit for that one, picking up a goal against the Avalanche. Dante Fabro back to the lineup from injury. Good to see him back. Picks up his 3rd goal of the season, but it was a tough night everywhere else for Dante Fabro. It's going to take a little while. Trying to catch a speeding train is hard enough. Trying to catch a bullet train is what the Colorado Avalanche already are. That is incredibly difficult. So for Fabro, a tough night to come back into the lineup, but he does manage to chip in offensively, picks up a goal, and get some good minutes under him in this game. 18-18 total time on ice, a lot of penalty killing time as well, some good special teams. So hopefully Dante Fabro going to be back fully healthy and at full speed here by the time the Preds get back against the Boston Bruins. They are going to need all of their defensemen back and healthy, and Stastny also back from injury over this road trip. Stastny is fantastic young defenseman. 1953 in total time on ice. He picked up an assist as well, and it's something the Nashville Predators need to explore is absolutely keeping Stastny here and keeping him in the lineup. He is a difference maker out there on the rink. It's impressive to see how composed and how prepared he already is to compete at the highest level. And then let's talk about McDonough and the match penalty, because we have to talk about that. I thought it was just the worst of circumstances, the worst of timing, and Ryan McDonough, who's never had a penalty of this nature, has never been suspended before, and is a world-class veteran NHL defender, known throughout the league to be highly respected, highly regarded. This was just a tough circumstance. I don't disagree with the 5-minute major call. It was very, very tough to watch at full speed, and the more you slow it down, the more you look at it. It didn't make the case any better, but I don't think that this was a situation with malice or intent. I think it was just the speed of the game coming together in a kind of a weird circumstance right there at the blue line, both players going for the puck, and the way they collided, it's tough to see, but it did not appear to be any type of malice or type of intent to injure. McDonough getting that match penalty changed the entire nature of this game. Not only did it allow the Colorado Avalanche to have a 5-minute major and get back into the game, but the Preds without McDonough were down to 5 defensemen, and Fabro just coming back from injury was not up to speed, so they were really down to about 4.5 defensemen in this game. McDonough ends up only skating 8:23. Time on ice, that penalty was in the first the earlier parts of the second period when he ends up out of this game. So I don't think that there should be any supplemental discipline, and I hope that the NHL just looks at the resume, looks at the track record, and realizes this isn't Tom Wilson we're talking about. It's Ryan McDonough, and whether he's been on the Rangers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, or the Nashville Predators, he's been one of the most outstanding, solid citizens that you can be. So I hope that closes the book on that. It cost the Predators a game. There is no doubt about that, because the Predators were now involved in a special teams war against the Colorado Avalanche, and you're not going to win that. And I'm going to repeat that again before the end of this in the close. But McDonough, his match penalty changed the course of this game. It cost the Predators an opportunity to win, and I think that should be a penalty enough. The Predators lost. McDonough sat out the rest of the game. It's the first time he's ever been in a situation like this, so I hope that's the end of that. It is the end of the conversation on that, because there's been so much discourse as roses. The Predators have been involved in so few of these incidents, and I'm so thankful for that, especially this season. It's been relatively quiet on the front for as physical as the Predators play. They have not been involved in a lot of cheap stuff, a lot of dirty stuff, a lot of suspensions, or anything like that. Again, I think that this was just the speed of the game and the size of today's players, and they're going after each other. They're getting after it hard in that game. The Colorado Avalanche and Nashville Predators could be facing off against each other in the playoffs, and they're certainly going to play as hard as they can against each other. Also, the Preds have beaten the Avs twice this season. It was the last time the Avalanche were going to have a chance to beat the Predators, and they were, again, getting after each other hard. Tough circumstance. Thankful nobody was injured, and I hate that Ryan McDonough had to have his first ever game suspension or match penalty, I should say. Stripe Digital is coming up next, and then we'll hear from the box score, the good cold hard numbers, and we'll close this episode of Renegades of Puck podcast out.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business, and that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions.
Welcome back in. Let's get to the good cold hard numbers known as the box score. Jankowski picks up a goal for the Nashville Predators. Nyquist and Smith, also Fabro, all your goal scorers for this Nashville Predators team. On the assist side of things, nobody with more than one. Stastny picks up an assist, an impressive 3-on-2 rush, and Stastny helps set up a goal right there. Zucker also picks up an assist. Sherwood, Nyquist, Novak, McCarron, and Philip Forsberg adds to his team-leading total in points. Picks up an assist in this game. When it comes to shots on goal, 6 was the lead on this one. Philip Forsberg and Dante Fabro each with 6 shots on goal. So again, Fabro back to the lineup, and good to see not only a goal but 6 shots on net. Tough end on the defensive side of things, though, but that's not what we're talking about right here. 4 shots on goal for Roman Josi in this game. When it comes to blocked shots, Roman Josi had 5 in this game. Luzon had 3. When it comes to the physical component of things, Luke Shen led the way with 9 hits, and he was definitely looking to impose his physical will all throughout this game. 5 hits for Jeremy Luzon. He remains on pace. He needs to stay right around 5 per game to break the NHL record. When it comes to time on ice leaders, 19:27 for Philip Forsberg, 19:13 for Gus Nyquist, 18:44 for O'Reilly. The least amount of time skated by any of the Nashville Predators forwards was 10:55 by Michael McCarron. When it comes to the Predators' power play, their power play was 0 for 5 in this game. Get involved in a special teams war and don't score on the power play, you are never going to beat the Colorado Avalanche. When it comes to time on ice leaders, and unfortunately all of these minutes ended up being ineffective since the team could not convert even a single single time. 6:03 on the power play for the captain Romiosi in this game. 5:14 for Forsberg, 5:05 for Nyquist, 4:01 for O'Reilly, and also Sissons. Now, give some credit to the Avalanche penalty kill. They were aggressive, they were sharp, and they were all over the Nashville Predators power play. But the Preds, 5 opportunities, could not convert, including, at least for a short time, a 5-on-3. Now, the other side of the special teams ledger is actually worse for the Preds. On the penalty kill, they were only 3 out of 6 in this game. They did give up only 1 goal in the 5-minute major against, but awful for the Nashville Predators to get involved in a special teams arms race against the Colorado Avalanche, who are just superior at that style of play. When it comes to the penalty kill time on ice, leaders, again, unfortunately ineffective. Cole Smith, 4:25 of total time on ice. Sissons at 3, Jankowski at 3:12. The defenseman, 4:13 for Luzon, 4:09 for Fabro, 4:01 for Stastny. Again, unfortunate, but the Nashville Predators got themselves involved in a special teams game, and you're always going to lose that game to the Colorado Avalanche. Face-off winning percentage, 47.1% for the Preds, 21 block shots, 22 hits, 7 takeaways, and 2 giveaways for the Nashville Predators. Lankinen, 35 out of 41 in this game, 6 goals against, 25 even strength saves, 7 power play saves, 3 shorthanded saves, an in-game save percentage of .854, and that's going to do it for the box score. There's just not a whole lot to talk about in this one. The Nashville Predators just simply have not been crisp, have not been fast, have not been on top of their game, have not been very detailed in the last couple of games, and that's cost them both of the games on this here road trip. Let's close it out and say you can't win a special teams battle against the team like the Colorado Avalanche one more time, and you just simply cannot. But here is the one thing I'm going to point out. You can learn that lesson right now. Look at the standings. Let's be obvious about this. The Nashville Predators are currently in the wild card 1 spot, but they only have a 3-point lead over the LA Kings on that. They could find themselves in a matchup with the Colorado Avalanche again in the first round. The Predators were highly successful against the Avalanche the first 2 times the teams played at Bridgestone Arena, but in Denver, the Predators were no match, and you can question the officiating, you can question some of the calls, you can question some of the reasoning behind it, but no matter what, the Nashville Predators ended up with 5 power play opportunities, and they ended up shorthanded 6 total times. Now, some of those were short, so it skews it just a little bit, but it doesn't make a difference. Too much special teams against the Colorado Avalanche. If you can play a 5-on-5 game against them, you can beat them. That is the lesson that you learn right now. You are not down 1 game in a series. You are not losing a series. Nothing is happening about a best-of-7 series. What happened, though, was you got your brains beaten in Denver, Colorado, and it should be a wake-up call that you got to get back to the good, hard-working, hard-skating, hard-checking, detailed game that you were playing before when you could roll all 4 lines. The last 2 games have, frankly, been a disaster, but you can crumple those tapes up and throw them in the trash and move right on and continue with your number 1 spot in the wild card and still guarantee yourself a playoff spot by just playing reasonably better hockey than you did the last 2 games coming up. Yes, you had leads in both of these games and you blew both of them. Get back to the good detailed hockey that you were playing that led to the franchise point scoring streak. Learn that lesson now before you're in Denver, Colorado for game 1 and game 2, and you are still trying to learn that lesson. It won't work out that way. That's going to do it for Operation 896. It's time to go enjoy Easter dinner. It's time to go have a fun afternoon. It's time to enjoy the weather a little bit. Time to get outside. Time to do something besides talk about this Nashville Predators 2-game road trip, which was an utter disaster. But again, it's better to get it out of the way now. It's better to learn the lessons right now. 8 games to go. Correct some things. Get things moving forward. The Boston Bruins are a tough damn opponent to have to try to get on the rebound against, but you have to get it done now. St. Louis, the Islanders, the Devils, the Jets, the Blackhawks, the Blue Jackets, Pittsburgh. There are teams on the schedule with the Nashville Predators should, if they get back to what they were doing so well before this 2 games, they should be able to handle their business moving forward and set themselves up nicely with this wild card spot. And the way Winnipeg has kind of slacked back, only 1 win ahead of the Nashville Predators, only 4 points ahead of the Nashville Predators, and 1 head-to-head game coming up. Who knows what may happen coming up here over the final 8 games of the season. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, though, to cover. That's going to do it for this episode. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your viewership. And most importantly, we appreciate each and every one of you. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.